Alright, so this is gonna be an odd one. Let me figure out how I'm gonna... I guess this is about as well as I'm gonna do it. So, this is going to hopefully not be a long one. It doesn't matter if no one's watching this. I'm just doing this for the sake of attempting to show a new method that I've been fiddling with for a while. And I have decided to go by what it probably is already well known for, being the circle method. And with the circle method, I had managed to use it to draw something like this. It's not my best, but actually it would be a great starter tool for people that are coming into art. So, we're going to use the circle method today to make some random character. Sorry, camera. Oof, 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 oof. Anyway, I think you guys have a good view. So why don't we start with the circle method? So for this, we're going to be using circles, obviously. We're also going to be using ovals, a cylinder, and of course, lines. So those are going to be the three basic shapes that we'll be using the majority. There could possibly be at least one triangle in there. And after we have the basic shape of everything set up, then we shall, sorry about that, then we shall put the character all together. Alright, so we're going to make a random character. I don't know who I'm making. If I end up making someone I already drew before, then hey, go me. And it's not going to have a lot of details, so that way, so we're going to start with a circle. And I like my characters looking off to the side and sometimes forward. So we're going to make this one look off to the side. Basic lines. And I like to know where the ear, if it was a person, will be. So I usually draw a circle there where it intersects the side of the head. Now the cylinder comes next. The cylinder comes next to make the neck. Wow, I just spoiled that without even trying. Woo. So, there we are. Lovely neck. I use a light line, to show where the shoulders can be. And here's where the circle part comes in. With circles, you're going to draw most likely a soft, curvy, extra curvy character most of the time. It's the benefit of circles, you can over-exaggerate it. So I want this character to have a normal chest. And I want her chest to be pointing the same way. Somewhat. I'm going to, and the best part also with working circles is you're able to be a little bit more flexible of where what is placed or how they're posed. So the next part, I'm going to do a slimmer oval here that'll connect the top torso to the waist. And I'm assuming I'm going to want a line this way. Now, and then there's going to be the circle down here. You can make it either thin or large as you want to basically flesh out your body. This is basically the fleshing out phase. So I like, obviously, big hips. So I'm going to give the basic size of the lower half. And then put a line of where the body's facing. Now, on top of this, I like to do the legs and stuff like that, so that way it could add like extra thickness up here or thinness, something like that. So I'm going to make this a humanoid. It's basically a chibi because I also did promise to draw a old character. So I might as well just draw the old character. Why not? So the old character I had was kind of thick. So work on her thighs. Like so. Don't stress too much about placement. That'll bother you a lot. So, if you're paying attention, we went from circle, cylinder, we placed a line for the shoulders, we placed a circle for the upper torso, we placed a smaller oval in the middle, and then we did the lower torso, and now the thighs. Now, on top of that, we want to do knees as well. I do small circles to show where the knees are. Sorry if I'm stuttering, I can't help myself. So, and we might as well do the shoulders while we're out of here too, so we can add the shoulders here with the circles as well. Alright, so let's go back to working on the legs. Since this is going to be humanoid, we're not going to do the extra steps like we did with the little furry character here, so we're just going to make the leg. And since it's also a chibi character, we won't have to go into full detail by adding feet and stuff like that. So, oof. Alright, which way do I want the legs to point? I'm going to have this one bent. So, there we go. Like that. Don't worry too much about it looking perfect. You can hash out the details later on when you come. Yes. And now for the arms. Place down where you want the upper portion of the arms to be. Circles for elbows. Now I want this one to have her hand right here on her, well, not exactly on her hip, but in the general area. And I want the other arm to be placed out here. Oof. And of course, place the circles of where the wrist and the hand connect, basically, the middle part. Yes. Now, here's where it's going to get interesting, because I usually don't finish off the hands. I add them on as basic shapes, block shapes later for my chibi shapes. So right now, why don't we hash out the basic body of this so that way it looks more like a character rather than a silhouette. So I like to start with shaping out the face. So my old character has a relatively chubby, chibi obvious face, but small. So we'll shape out her head. The neck is fine. Now here's where the triangle I mentioned before will come in at most. Bring down these parts to the shoulders, like that. And then add in the shoulders and hash out the arms. I like to start out with the arms, if you couldn't tell, when it comes to hashing out my character. Like so. Like I said, don't worry about the hands until later. Don't worry about the hands until later. We could worry about the hands later. Right now, we're just hashing out the basic shapes of your arms. And since I'm going to be doing a chibi, I can also show you a cheap method of being able to block out hands. Aw, thanks, Still the Glitch! Alright. The character I'm drawing has a slight chest, so we're going to flush out the chest carefully. So we bring down here, follow the guideline of the circle like so. Do the same with this part. Now, also, you don't exactly have to follow this guideline, otherwise you would have a weird looking middle torso, but reference it at how wide you want it to be. I like to have my characters to have a slim middle torso. Better unplug that. My battery is apparently overheating. I like my characters to have a nice slim middle torso. So, and then we work on the legs. Now the legs, I recommend that if you do the legs and make yourself think you're having fun, then they're easier to do. They don't have to look perfect since it is a chibi. So why don't we start out with this leg here? Follow the guidelines. You can make them thicker than your guidelines if you would like, but follow your guidelines. When you see the knee, what I usually do is I draw an indent of where I want the knee pattern to be. The little bump, I mean, you know what I mean. And then you go from here, right here, and then you make it super plush right here. And then lead down to where you want to go. And then you can either repeat the same process on the other side or nay. And I highly recommend you be really relaxed and really calm when doing this. Otherwise, you'll be a little bit overstressed. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a tad bit stressed right now because I never demonstrated this method. I never even made a tutorial video. I don't even know if this could count as one. It's just me trying to show off a method. So then you take this part, work on the other leg. This is the one that I was dreading the most. Follow the guidelines as best as you can. I'll come to that part in a bit when I figure out what I want to do. Now, when it comes, I'm planning on making this one a side view. So what I want to do is I'm going to bring down this line to where I want the foot to end. And then I pop out the calf here and then gradually bring it down. And since we're doing a chibi and it doesn't really have feet, we can bring it down as a simple oval. And you can go back once you start working on the actual line art and fixing it, but due to the fact that I'm somewhat of a perfectionist, I'm going to fix this right now. Or try to. Alright, where I want this to be. I'm going to go on a limb and say it would look like that. Alright, so, and one other thing, if your pose ends up changing to make the entire thing look wonky, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, since I do this a lot, obviously, relax and just improvise. Improvise the best you can. There's no need to freak out. You don't have to restart. You can try and find a way to make it work. Sometimes a little bit of adjustments of the size of the thighs or the torso or reposition of the hands and arms helps greatly. It's like, just try to go with it the best you can. So there's the basic shapes. Now I want to show you guys the little cheap thing I do for hands. Like, I do occasionally go into detail for hands, but what I do when I'm just doing a simple sketch for fun, like this one, is I usually just block out the shape of what I want. So I usually just bring out this part. If I want to be a relaxed looking one, I block out the shape of what a relaxed hand may look like that. And if I want a hand to be resting on a thigh or something like that, it's going to be a bit more difficult because it will look weird, won't deny it. I usually have them resting, like, at a personal reference, I usually have my hand resting in a fist formation on my leg. So I usually follow what I usually do, what I know how I can draw on this. So since I'm having this rest on her thigh, and I personally rest my hand as a fist, I go via what I'm good with. So I will have her resting her hand as a fist. Now, like I said, this is the sketch phase, and sometimes you may get discouraged since it doesn't look exactly how you want it to. But with enough determination, you could take something like this, the circle method I showed you, just reminding you guys what you can get it to, and you can turn it into something like this with enough determination and fiddling. But like I said, right now we're working on a simple character, so next I'm gonna try and show you a simple way to do hair. So what I usually do is, there's two things that people usually do. They do the one eye and cover the hair with the other one, or they do the little circle placement to have like a cheat sheet, have the circles similar sized on each side, and then try and fill them out as similar as you can. I personally work on my weaker side, the one where I mess up the most. So I work on this side first, and then go to my strong side and copy what I did on this side. That's my way of trying to get at least decent eyes every time. And I have, excuse me, sorry, talking too fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give her doe eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the curvature. You're good at demonstrating this, by the way. I know this. Yeah, I'm trying my best. So when it comes to doing doe eyes, follow the curvature of the circle, but then when you reach the top midpoint, at least there, is where I usually drop it down semi-drastically, and then follow the curvature back up to give it a slight drooped doe eye look. And one thing that I try to avoid doing when making these eyes is I don't exactly want them looking exactly at me or at the person or the, you know what I mean. So what I usually do is I draw the eyes looking off into a different direction, whether it be up, down, this way, wherever. I just do any direction but forward. It, for some reason, it makes it feel like there's something going on. And since she's mostly turned this way and she looks like she might be startled or something like that, maybe surprised, we'll have her looking off this way. So we will draw her looking this way. And now we're going to try and copy the basic shape of that eye over here. Like so. And even if you don't copy it 100% correct, try to work with it. And if it really doesn't work later on, then go back and try and fix it the best you can. But if it ends up getting to a point where you get super frustrated and want to quit, then take a moment, take a break, or maybe go with the one eye idea. So like that. Now, one thing I want to say too is that the character I'm drawing only has one eye, but I wanted to demonstrate how I try to get perfect, or at least semi-perfect eyes right there. So now that you've seen how I done eyes, I'm just going to erase that. And we're going to do the hair now. So the character I have has little poofy bangs that come down and around, frame her face, and then she has pigtails. So what I usually do, people usually start like the outline of the hair. I start with the bangs. Since the bangs are the most, that's like the first thing I usually see whenever I draw or whenever I look at art. So with her hair, I usually try to do like soft shapes with bangs or harsh shape with bangs, but with her I did soft. So, and then I have a cup here on the face. Yeah. Then I bring this up a little bit high. I bring it up a little bit high, and then I bring it down like so. So that way there's a nice little triangle in there. And then I cut it off on the side by bringing in another side of the bangs. Like that. And then make sure that they're both popping at least near the sides of the head. So that way then I can go about the top, start where I want the hair part to be, which is here. Oh, excuse me. And then I begin to flesh out this part. So the part upon her head goes up like this. And then you just go out. I usually try not to block in shapes beforehand, so that way with spiky like or semi-spiky hair like this, it doesn't feel as forced. Like I don't flesh out like Glitchy's hairstyle either. She is completely wild, and if you've seen her at the beginning, her hair length changed a lot until I found a length that I personally like. To be honest, I did not even notice it happened until somebody pointed it out, and I'm like, oh, it did grow. So there's one side done. Now we got to work on the other. Now, I have been asked once before how to make an original hairstyle. And to be honest, I do not know. I have no clue how to go about making an original hairstyle. I usually just make something that looks weird and try to make it work. Alright, so basic hair done. We will do the pigtails in a second, but I realized I forgot about the rest of the face. So, since this is obviously a simple eyes drawing, a little chibi, we're gonna do a little dot for a nose to avoid stressing too much. And the character I'm drawing doesn't smile a lot, so we'll make her have this neutral, surprised look. In fact, we'll even add an eyebrow right up here. There we go. She got a surprised look. And I usually wait to fill out the details in the eyes until later, but I think I'll fill them out now for the sake of why not? Like that. All right, now for my worst enemy, pigtails. I never draw these symmetrically. So usually I pinpoint where I want the ponytail to start, and then I start by trying to follow a imaginary line of where I want said pigtails to go. So I want these to be slightly flared out. Like so. And then bring them back up and in. It looks weird, but usually if you tough it out until the end, like coloring wise and stuff like that, you usually can color it and shade it and it ends up looking good. But it will look weird at first, as all drawings do. One point where I want the ponytail to be started at base wise, and then follow through of the motions that I want the ponytail to have. So like I said, I want to have the flare. That too. References also can help greatly with hair too. That is true. I just happen to be using my phone to record, so I can't really look up a reference other than the picture that I have like off onto the side. Old drawing. Now, normally with characters like this, I would always add like a silly little diddly-do on the top of the head, like right here. But she does not have the fun little diddly-do, so we will have to cry in misery later about that one. So, she has a dress. So, it's a short sleeve dress as well. So, when it comes to the sleeves of the dress, I recommend starting out on the side that has like no armpit. So that way you can hash out how long you want the sleeves to be, what shapes you want them to be. So like that. Now for this one, I always go to this point of the armpit and then I bring it up. Like that. Then I erase this, the little part of the armpit since it's already. Now, for the dress neck part, most people do a circular or a turtleneck or something like that, or flat. What I usually do is I bring it down at about right here and then make it a semi-square based. And why I do this for dresses is because if I per se wanted this dress to have frills, I could make a lighter square around this and then shape out frills. So that and it wouldn't have to be adjusted all that much. It would suit properly with that. So in case you want to make like a frilly outfit, there's a cheat. Just make a little square. And then, see here, she has a little sash around her waist. So we'll make a little sash right here. Like so. I just base out the shapes with a rectangle, like that. And then we bring down the dress. And the main dress part is not very long. But you could base, all right, hold on. You can make either a long, short dress, but some people find difficulty finding the right length that they want. So what I usually do is I go based off of where either the dress part begins to flare out or where the sash, this thing is. So I go from here and I make a simple line like this until the desired length, which is actually here. And then I try and bring over that line to the other side, which is where you will meet it with another line like so. And lightly erase the legs on the inside in case, like, if you were designing a character and you want to wear a dress originally and you change your mind, you want it to be a jumper, that way you can go back and erase the skirt and then just fill out the legs again. So then the dress is a simple wavy one, doesn't have many frills, so we're going to go with a wavy look. So I usually just draw a squiggly line like so. And then we bring up the little crease lines. So right here, I usually do crease line per bump. So crease line, bring up here. There's another bump. Bring a slight one up here, and then bring a more in-depth one there. Raise that one down a bit. With this one, since it has a little angle here, I usually cheat by going off the angle and then doing that. And there's a slight bump there. All right, I gotta erase some of that more. Some of that more, yes, English. All right, and there's the dress. Now, I'm also going to point out that on the drawing, she does not have any shoes. So she's going to be barefooted. There we go. We're fixing this leg at last. Trying to still. All right, now there's also one more thing to add to this character, and that's wings. Now, some people like to do overly detailed, like, butterfly wings, like... something like that, I believe. Or they do dragonfly wings. Well, for her, in this old drawing, I had simple little circle wings. And I highly recommend this if you plan on using or drawing this character a lot, and if you, like, just want to focus on, like, the main aspects of the character rather than just the wings. Little circles will make for a good little fairy character. Especially when you color them, you make it semi-transparent. Oof. Make sure you get it on the other side. All right. Now, I also want to say, like, this would be where I would end. This is how detailed my character is. But for the sake of adding a little flair, because this is a tad plain, we're going to give her antennas. For the sake of just a little flair. I enjoy my little fairies to have, like, their little antennas. Like so. Yeah. Alright, and there you have it. So, with all of this, we created, character-wise, you can make this or this with... Oops, sorry, camera went out of focus. With these basic shapes of a circle, oval, cylinder, and lines. All you have to do is have enough patience to, after when you get the base fleshed out, to connect the lines in however way you want. If I make another video of tutorials, I hopefully will be with another simple basic shapes method to help people learn to draw with simple little shapes. Now, this video was the longest one on my channel yet. Wow. Now, there's one more thing that I wanted to do before I close off this video. If I can find it. I might have to make a separate video for this, won't I? Where is it? Here it is! Found it. Alright, so I usually try and do this whenever I get a new character, because I am a sucker for adopts. So, right here is a semi-close species. The species belongs to Cloud Sleepy. She is on DeviantArt. When I edit the little information box, I will leave a link to her DeviantArt channel in the little area where you can get a gatcha of one of her close species. I got 2 from her, and I just love them. They're my little children. I will post the little speed paint videos of their finished pictures and everything. So, Cloud Species has those semi-closed species. I recommend you go check her out. I will provide a link after I edit, like, go through and edit the description box. So, I hope you found, that aside, I hope you found the circle method and semi-tutorial very useful. And, well, I'm a bit awkward, aren't I? If you liked this video, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like, maybe subscribe if you want. I ain't forcing. And be sure to leave a comment, alright? So, and be sure to leave me a link to any possible drawings that you may have may make based off of this method, all right? Because I am very curious and I like to see what people make. All right. Thank you for watching the live stream and have a good evening, guys. Bye.